Hello and welcome to our next episode. Today I'm going to be interviewing Harish, visiting from India, our Chief Cloud and Data Officer. How are you? How's New York?
Well, oh, it's a little hot, but it's
Just a little?
just a little hot, yeah.
Okay, perfect. I know, I'm feeling it. We got our suits on. We are located in front of Rockefeller Center today, so hopefully not too many crowds coming through, but we're going to jump right into it. So, starting with our first question, with the surge in AI-powered platforms and adaptive learning tools, how should school districts rethink data architecture to ensure both flexibility and long-term scalability?
That's a very good question. You're right. AI is kind of literally taking over the world. We just came back from a conference where every large booth was a data tool rather than an education company. Yes, data and AI are here. They are here to stay. And any school district or institution thinking about building a solution at this point in time need to keep that in mind. That what they are building is not for today. They are building for the future. So when they're making decisions related to system architecture, it has to be very flexible. It has to be the large monolithic systems are completely out of fashion. They don't survive more than 5 years. So what you need to look at doing is building microservices architecture, small programs, purpose-built programs, so that when something is outdated, you can check them out. Something has to be upgraded. It is easy to upgrade. And every time, every year, every 5 years, you are not making large investments to rebuild your systems. So I think in short, focus on purpose-built small programs rather than large monolithic architectures.
And is that how you would recommend these districts get started? Because, everyone has budget constraints, and we're always thinking about like how we can resolve a problem now. Do you recommend they take these small micro steps, or think about the long-term picture when making these decisions?
Absolutely micro steps, because that's the long-term picture. The long-term, where are we going to be 5 years down the line in this environment where everything is changing literally every 2 weeks?
So
taking a 5-year long view is going to be very short-sighted, because nobody knows what's going to happen in 5 years.
Right.
So it's better to have small, focused micro applications, purpose-built for a specific task. That will be the advice from our side.
Now, before I get on to the next question, I have to ask, I try to ask everyone this, because we always like to think about 5 years, what's going to happen in 5 years. What is the actual time frame we can think about these days? Because of how rapid we're developing with technology, AI, etc. How far can we truly look out now, in your opinion?
In my view, it has to be not more than 2 to 3 years.
Wow, that's a big range.
Anything more than 2 years is too long.
Wow.
Specifically in this environment today.
Wow, that's a big change from the 5 to 10 year scope that we've done previously. All right, cool. So we're going to go on to our next question. It's a little long, and I'm cheating a little bit because I have my questions typed out. So here we go. As learning ecosystems become more decentralized, spanning LMSs, VR platforms, third-party apps, maybe even different LLM models now, what are the biggest challenges in achieving real-time data synchronization, and how might emerging standards like EdTech or OneRoster evolve to help?
See, real-time synchronization is very important these days. It's not about syncing to systems. It is the important thing here is to get two systems to talk the same language, and that is where the standards come into place. Whether it is EdTech, OneRoster, or any of these data standards, it is essential that all the decision makers ensure that whatever purchase decisions that they are making, buying decisions that they are making, they are buying systems that are adhering to these standards.
Okay.
That's the only way they will get these two systems to talk to each other, and then the real-time syncing will come into play.
Right.
I think it is important that all systems talk the same language. The data is stored in a format which is open source, which is standards-driven database, and with EdFi and One EdTech coming together, that's
Yeah.
going to be very powerful. So I think the important thing is standards here.
And just to clarify for people who maybe aren't super familiar with terminology, when you're saying standards, are you talking about like state standards? Is there another organization like One EdTech, or who is setting these standards and who is making the changes for those standards?
So I'm not talking about the Common Core state standard or
Okay.
learning standards. Here,
Okay.
when we are talking about data synchronization, we are talking about data-related standards. One EdTech Consortium
Okay.
are the organizations, like they have come out with all of these open source standards like
Sure.
OneCoaster. Then EdFi has come out with EdFi standard,
Yeah.
CEDS. So these are different not-for-profit bodies who are doing a very good job, I think.
Okay. Nonprofits even better, right? So, and then with LLMs coming into the play now and schools starting to implement generative AI and more students are using it themselves, is this data synchronization going to play into the overall workflow of these systems or not really? Is that something that's completely outside?
See, at this point in time, the way AI applications are being built, they are not using too much of user data, right?
Right.
Too much of the AI applications are largely leveraging the intelligence of large language model, maybe to summarize text, to create lesson plans. So a lot of tools that you see in, let's say, history conference were more related to translation, language translation, summarization, getting some answers from the LLM using the intelligence of the LLM.
I see.
That's, I think, phase one. Phase two will be personalization at scale, which is where your user's behavior, what is it that makes them tick, what is it that they like, what is their learning style, what are their learning gaps. When all of this data and we start deriving intelligence from that data, personalize the learning for the student, that's when the data will start coming into play. So LLMs will be useful and are very useful, where they are doing a good job in simplifying things for students.
Yeah.
But I think until we start using the data infrastructure and the real data, we can't really bring personalization at scale.
Okay, that's kind of leading into my next question about what is the line between this personalization and then surveillance and also data compromise, right? So where's those lines? Because I know it's a very thin line, but data privacy and security is becoming a bigger topic now with all of these LLMs being used.
See, data privacy, security is important, and every organization should have a policy around it. They should have someone who is taking accountability and stewardship of the data. Someone should be owning all the data, all the policies related to data. And see, the important thing about policies is policy can be a document sitting, but it has to be the spirit of how you are using the data is very important.
Right.
So the way Magic looks at data is only collect information that is needed. Data.
Yeah.
If you don't need data, so minimize the data collection. It has to be purpose driven. Why are you collecting this data?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And based on that purpose, what data do you need? So collect data that is needed. Has to be purpose of that data has to be defined very clearly. Why are you collecting that data? And use it only for the purpose for which you collected that data. So don't use it for surveillance. Don't use it for anything other than like, for instance, what is the bad use of data? So you collected data so that you could personalize learning, but now you are taking disciplinary action based on the data that you have collected, or making a behavioral profile of an individual. So that's misuse of data, because that wasn't the purpose for which you collected the data. And most important thing, which shouldn't be the last, it should come first, is consent.
Of course. The biggest thing here.
For students, they should know what data is being collected, why it's collected, and how it's used. If the student is minor, the parents has to consent, so that consent is extremely important. And then the last thing is control.
Yeah.
They should have control over the data. If they want to delete it, they should be able to delete it. I think these are the important things.
I was going to say, so important, and I love the call to actions that you're putting in there, and I hope whoever's looking at this is like, yes, that's exactly what needs to happen, and they're starting to stand up and take the action based on these comments, because data and privacy, security, right, it's so important these days, and we're now just starting to escalate awareness around it. So I think now's the time to define what is surveillance, how we're going to use the data, and fully implement what is consent to the data. So going into the next one is about what does this mature data engineering operation look like in any school district, so K through 12 higher education, and you can even tie in the component of you were saying with the surveillance at getting consent for data usage, etc. And then if they don't want the data to be used anymore, getting rid of it. What does this whole process and engineering scope look like?
See, it starts with one is unifying all your systems. Like most school districts have over 15 to 20 different places where they are collecting data.
Okay.
The student information system, there is some finance and accounting system, there is some payroll system. There's so many different products, and of course there are learning management systems and different purpose-based learning products that they are using. So a student data is scattered across 20 to 50 different databases. So ensure that you unify that data. You have a data policy around keeping that data in one place. So that's step number one.
Yeah.
Once you have that, then start putting data governance practices in place. Who has access to data, for what purpose, and only people who have access to that data should have use of that data. So and that data governance is only possible if you have a centralized place for keeping your data. You have data policies around your data, you have data governance practices in place. So I think that's what a mature organization will have. A mature organization will have data unification, data governance in place, and data privacy policies in place.
So we talked about the mature one. I'm going to counter it with, what about the immature organizations, like smaller school districts, ones that don't have funding? What are the smaller steps that they can take to get started, or what should they prioritize in this whole overall NGO process?
Have a roadmap. You cannot, any organization, small or big, cannot do everything in one shot. Have a roadmap. Start with your data policies. Where is all the data? Right? Who has access?
Number one issue? Yeah. Where is it?
Where is it? Who has access to it?
Yeah.
Is it already secure or not? Is it prone to getting hacked? So all of this. So start with some of the basics, documenting all of these things. Who has access to it, and then start slowly move into a mature place.
I like that, because I think those are very reasonable and easier actionable steps versus let's get the funding for these full synchronization. Yeah. So I guess this is a good way for the small baby steps to lead to those long-term goals that we were talking about earlier. All right, our last question.
So finally it's ending.
I know it's hot, right? Okay, with the rise of generative AI in the classroom, how should education systems think about the provenance, labeling, and version control of content and assessments? Which I know, again, we're talking about testing. Adaptive assessments is another trending topic right now, especially when AI models are trained on potentially sensitive or proprietary data. So again, data privacy concerns that people are talking about today.
Yeah, see, the important thing here is provenance, right? So if, let us say, you are using large language models to generate your lesson plan, or some teaching or learning content, you need to know what data was used to train it. Otherwise you may have copyright issues, right? So the important thing is provenance. You should know where the data came from, what was used to generate that data, because version control is no more about version control of the document, version 1 of the document, and it is version 2 of document. In the world of AI now, you're talking about versions of LLMs which were used to generate the data, right, or generate the content that you are using. So the important thing here is to have that information available all the time and maintain it, because in scenarios where there are claims or counter claims made on your generated content, you should have everything ready. So the content provenance is a very, very important aspect, and the version control is slightly more nuanced, and it is no more just about document version control. It is about knowing which LLM was used and what links were used to generate that data. That's the important aspect. And the other aspect is like, how do you ensure plagiarism in play, like plagiarism checks and all of that from students' perspective, because we all know that it's the reality that students are using LLMs, finish their assignments and all of that. I think we need to accept that as a reality, and ensure that students are not copy pasting all of that information. They are understanding the core concepts, and LLM is just being perhaps used to polish the language rather than actually create the thought.
Yeah. So then what is the solution for this, right? Because we know the students are going to go, they're going to try to do the plagiarism, and it's this now the role of the teacher, the educator, to figure out how to implement this into the classroom. Is it the district that's saying, no, we're only going to use this model because we know there's going to be more of the Socratic method with it? Like, what is the solution, I guess?
I think the solution is a lot of training, and some policies around it. There is no, I don't think, I'm from an EdTech world, not an educator. I don't think there is, we should be fighting this. We should against it, right? We should be finding a way of leveraging it for improving the education. See, the important thing in today's world, in this AI-driven world, is going to be critical thinking.
Yeah, of course.
Everything that I do for students is to ensure that they become better citizens, better humans, happy people, good in their professional, are successful in whatever profession that they choose. And some of these important aspects are like critical thinking. When you ask student to do an essay, it is to encourage a few traits. So ensure that focus is on those skills that we are trying to inculcate in students rather than how they generated it. Right. So the important thing is that critical thinking approach and teaching methodology rather than focusing so much on LLM and how they generated it.
I love that. I think that's a good call to action to leave off on, is the emphasis on critical thinking. Is there anything else that you would like to add before we close out?
Oh no, thanks for this discussion. It was I never thought about these questions earlier, so you
really dug into the trends here.
See, the important, I think your last questions was around AI, and I think AI is here to stay. It is only going to get more and more ingrained in our lives. So there is no point in fighting it. It's important that we embrace it and figure out how education and AI move together for the betterment of our students.
I totally agree. Thank you so much, Harish, for answering all of my questions, both ones that you kind of had a hint towards and ones that you didn't. And I hope you enjoyed your visit to Rockefeller Center today, despite the heat. Thank you, guys. And remember, stay curious. All right.